Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Penny Bloom Podcast. 'Tis I, Colton Robertson, and we are complete once again after missing Joe last week. He is back for the WandaVision watch. It is us, the Penny Bloom Podcast, Marvel, WandaVision, The Watchmen. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What's up? Thank you for bringing me back.
Oh, I am
glad to be back.
I'm glad you're feeling better, buddy. And then on the screen over here, I've got Miles Buttress. How you doing?
Doing okay, man. Doing okay. Happy to be doing this.
Yeah, it's a fun time. It's definitely what I look forward to most in our week. Typically, it's a lot of fun. But on the screen below me that I can see and you cannot, KBZ Kyler Barnett. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Let's get right to this shit. I'm so ready.
Fucking wonderful. This is episode 7. Breaking the Fourth Wall was the episode title. And this one, I didn't do so much a scene by scene, so much as I broke down the storylines from it, and we're just going to talk about them one by one, character by character. Photon, Wanda and the kids, Vision and Darcy, and then Agnes, and then later revealed Agatha. Fucking awesome. And let's just talk about that for one moment. It's hilarious that I went back and listened to our first episodes, right? After the reveal on Friday. And we believed Agnes was already Agatha all the way up until episode 6. Episode 6 is when we gave up.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that was the episode where she, acted like she was insane.
Yeah, she looked at Vision and was like, she acted like she had no wherewithal of what she was doing, where she was, or anything. So that was when I just believed her. But because she's Agatha and because apparently she's behind the cameras during a lot of it, she's controlling the show actually, and like that's how I interpreted that. Like you can't show her behind the camera without it being like she controls it, right?
Well, and also name it Agatha all along.
Yeah, Agatha all along.
Is this the official show title now? Are we calling it Agatha all along?
No,
Or
pause.
is it still WandaVision?
Pause. What if it's like a separate show that she don't put on the air? Because like you said, Colton, we were talking about this earlier, she doesn't want like she specifically played into the Vision, like revealing it to keep her shit under wraps. Like she wanted to reveal this on her own terms. So what if this is another show and nobody's picked up that frequency or watched that?
Oh, you know what would be cool is if in this next episode we get a breakdown of her point of view of the story throughout. If that was
that would be awesome, but there is not enough time. We don't got time for that shit.
No, that's the thing. Imagine the type of shit that could potentially be revealed if the story is told from Agatha's perspective.
Okay.
Also, imagine if they really just go all in on this Agatha all along, and there's just a surprise premiere, like the week after the end of WandaVision, where there's still all these questions left, and they premiere Agatha all along that continues WandaVision for a couple episodes.
Wild. They were just a 4-part.
It's not happening.
Finish WandaVision.
Yeah, it's not happening, but it'd be fucking crazy if it did.
That would be fucking crazy. But
dude, I'll take any more Catherine Hahn I can get. She's pretty killer right now.
I mean, they made a banger with that intro song. That's for sure. That intro song was a banger.
Her singing. That's her singing.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I guess I kind of should have, because I have ears and all, but I didn't know that. I guess I didn't pick up on that.
No, that's a talented woman right there. But let's start talking about this episode 7. I love the Modern Family influence. It was very evident immediately.
Except the theme song. Theme song was office as fuck.
Theme song was so office. So office.
Also, did you guys see what was officially confirmed in the the pictures of the intro?
Oh, that Blue
I don't know.
Bowl is
The
Blue Springs, is canon in the Marvel universe.
there's a sign
I don't think that Blue Springs Bowl is strictly the only bowling alley with a sign that looks similar, but I am all here for putting it on the map.
But the fact that it said Springs above it, makes me kind of think that it is actually just that they for some reason decided to use Blue Springs bowling sign.
Well, and
I want it confirmed.
That got me thinking earlier today, like on a different tangent, like, are we looking at a town that is like a small town, Westview, or are we looking at a town that is like Blue Springs with like 50,000 people? Like, what's going on here? Like, what was Westview initially?
Don't they say how many people were in Westview at some point?
They say thousands, but they don't specify.
Oh, okay. I just couldn't remember if, at the very, episode 3 or whatever, whenever it's the Jimmy Woo, if he said an episode of X number of people just went or a town of X number of people went missing.
Oh, I don't remember if they did a specific.
Yeah.
He did say that he said it's not people missing, it's a whole town.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking.
Then I felt like when they put all the missing people up in the sword compound or whatever, it was like people from kind of anywhere.
Yeah, that was the impression I got too. It didn't seem like all those people were straight up from.
Yeah.
I think the people they posted up were not from Westview, so that's why they were interested in them, and that's why they were posting them up on the wall.
Oh,
or no, I think those people were all people that they had camera shots of, and they could connect with a real.
Oh, that's true. That's true. They did see them.
I just looked it up. There's a line, Jimmy Woo to Monica Rambeau saying it's a missing town, population 3,892. 92.
3,892?
Yep.
Okay, that's cool.
But I also feel like by the time we get later on, in the Halloween episode or after that, I feel like there's more than that. Because
definitely.
I feel like that had to have been a count without children, because it seemed like there were way more people than that.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in that little town, for sure.
There's a lot of sword people that were sucked up too. So
there's a whole clown.
Now. But I love that we get the first confessional here with Wanda and stuff, and I love these confessionals. They're extremely Modern Family. She's exactly she's pulling straight from that. It feels like, and and we had the Office type theme song with the Modern Family logo play, where they had the white Wanda, red Vision, and it looked like the same font and stuff, and I liked that a lot. But the most exciting part of the episode for me personally was Photon's origin story.
I think we knew it was coming, but we didn't know exactly how it was going to happen.
Oh, and I loved it. I could watch.
See, I knew as soon as the rover didn't go through, I knew exactly what the fuck was going on. I was like, oh, yep, it's happening. We're about to see some wild shit. This is awesome.
I guess before we get into Photon,
I feel like you knew it. I feel like you knew she was going to be Photon, though. I felt like that moment.
I knew she was going to be Photon, but in that moment, I didn't think, oh, well, she's just going to run through on her own.
I kind of thought she did, just because, Kyler, I'm with you. As soon as it started struggling to go in, I was like, all right, so something's going to happen. It's going to get thrown back out. She's going to be like, all right, fuck this shit, and then just run, go gung ho in and find a way to not get affected or whatever. And the way that she didn't get affected was by becoming Photon.
I just felt like it was gonna, I just felt like you knew she wasn't gonna take, not getting in the rover for an answer. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, here it is. This is picture perfect. This is all laid out. It makes total sense for her to be revealed right now.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that rover for a second, though. Cause,
hard.
Here's the thing, is that, it was super, super dope. But
also completely useless.
Completely useless. I was expecting that the person who would be giving her this rover would be the physicist she contacted earlier. That's supposed to be.
They didn't reveal that at all.
I was pissed.
I have seen some stuff saying that that big reveal, whether it's the engineer / physicist or whoever it is, or the big cameo, is supposed to be this coming episode.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I saw it, but I did see that it is supposed to come this episode.
I told Colton before we started recording, I said, I swear to God, if by 3 tomorrow we haven't either seen the cameo or gotten the astrophysicist, I am going to be fucking pissed. If the astrophysicist isn't the cameo or isn't someone cool, pissed. If it isn't the cameo next episode, pissed. I'm going to be just mad.
See, I'm okay with the astrophysicist not being the cool cameo, mainly because I'm still holding out hope that Mark Hamill somehow works his way in to be Mephisto.
Here's the thing. Since we're here, let's talk about the cameo thing, because so the impression that I'm getting collectively through Twitter is that the people think the astrophysicist is going to be Reed Richards, played by John Krasinski. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Yes. Paul Bettany has not waited his whole life to act with Jim Halpert. Let's just be real.
Yeah. So
that's good point.
So now I wonder if the astrophysicist is going to be huge in a sense on its own, and then the other cameo will be even bigger, which is like fucking awesome. But now I'm really fearful that the astrophysicist is going to be hyped up and like teased and suspense all, and then it's going to be like it's just John. It's just John.
The reason I'm mad is because I haven't put stock into it pretty much the whole time. I thought maybe it'd just be like a big new actor, not so much a big new character, you know? But the way the internet's making me feel is that it's definitely Reed Richards. And like,
yeah,
I think it's going to be the character of Ralph. Whoever the actor may be, whether it is Mark Hamill, I think the character is going to be Ralph that ends up being the cameo. That's just my guess. I'm throwing it out there.
And we talked about it last week. I just feel like giving Paul where is he from? Speaking of which, so I don't say something like super dumb here.
He is from the United Kingdom.
Okay, I figured. So to me, it's like a cult hero for him would absolutely have to be like Patrick Stewart, right? Like Sir Patrick Stewart.
If we could get a Sir Patrick Stewart like Mephisto, oh, that would be amazing.
See, I just wonder if then, God, it's just now, and I'm totally reaching here. I like, you know, he could have a lot of actors he's wanted to work with in his career. It doesn't just have to be someone, but like that one just seems on paper to fit the bill really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So one that Paul Bettany has repeatedly said he would love to work with throughout his career. A man who has already played a devil role before and is a world-renowned actor. Al Pacino. Could you imagine?
Wow. Do you want to go with that as your guess? Because if it's right, that's like big 5-head plays right there. That's like insane brain magic if you get that right.
Because he played the devil in Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been in that role before, in the devilish role, but like is a man who has worked with Scorsese within the last couple of years gonna be in a Marvel movie?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but this man was in fucking Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler. Yeah, I don't want to fucking hear it. My man was on screen saying Dunkachino. I don't want to fucking hear the bullshit about how he's all worried about being in a critically fucking renowned movie or some shit. There's bullshit. This man's name is attached to some dog
Jack
shit.
and Jill was the greatest movie
this
of
man
all
is attached to some dog shit.
Jack and Jill in theater, bro. And I can confidently say the worst movie of all time.
Bro.
I don't know if I'd go quite as far as saying worst movie of all time, but I would definitely put it up there. Also, Kyler, I love the idea of a Sir Patrick Stewart cameo. Although I immediately hate it because it removes the possibility for them to just like in some other movie throw a quick one-off like through another like multiverse of going to the X-Men universe where Patrick Stewart and what's his name are Magneto, just quickly getting them as Professor Xavier and Magneto for a second, and then just moving on because I would love that.
And I like I love it, but like, God, like they've already been moved on from like once in a way, like not totally because like what they came because I'm not super great with the X-Men. I've seen them in bits and pieces.
We're in the future past with
right.
James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender.
So like not totally moved on, but like at what point is it like Mark Hamill where it's like, you know, enough's enough? Like when are we getting to the like done point? You know what I mean? Which I guess technically Mark Hamill's still involved, but like not like, you know. Whatever. Harrison Ford may even be a better example. That way I don't sound dumb. You know? He was like, I'll come back for one, but I'm done. Like, I want to be
Well,
done.
and that's kind of what I was saying about the like a Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, getting them in for one more thing to like tie them in, and it'd also be a really cool like fan service thing to do.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I have so many questions. I just want to know the cameo. I want to know if it is the astrophysicist. If it's not, who is it? If it's somebody important, this is like.
I kind of hate that I remembered that the cameo was coming up this episode because I have a test at 9 a.m. On Friday, and I was originally being like, well, I can't watch it on Thursday night, but now I feel like I have to watch it on Thursday night and just
pray for the morning.
Just wake,
dude, that would be brutal because I've been staying up to watch them. So now, like, before it was like you guys couldn't talk about it because, well, I guess you probably did like individually, but like you couldn't talk about it in the group because I hadn't seen it. But man, that would suck if we all had seen it and knew and you didn't know. That would suck.
Yeah, that's why if it was any other episode, I think I would just take the L and not stay up for it. I think I've now changed my mind and I'm staying up for it.
Oh, dude, I have practice at 12:30 on Friday. You can best believe I'm gonna be up in that bitch. I will be watching it. Absolutely, I'll probably watch it fucking twice. Fuck it. I got time to kill.
My thing regarding the Patrick Stewart thing is that if they're bringing him into the Marvel universe, he's not playing another character.
Yeah, that's another thing.
He's not playing someone other than Professor X. That's just like, that'd be blasphemous at this point.
It'd be blasphemous, and also like you have to think about the fact Patrick Stewart's 80 years old and probably doesn't want to sign up to be the titular villain for potentially multiple movies.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It has to be someone that's kind of young-ish or young acting, such as Mark Hamill, as he's old, but he likes the younger generation movies. Mm-hmm. I get that vibe from him. It has to be someone younger, but still willing to do that role, which is I don't think there's that many people out there that are like that, which is really weird.
Well, that's what's interesting is that if it's someone Paul Bettany has wanted to work with his whole life,
it has to be someone big.
Puts him up there a little bit in age because Paul Bettany's 39.
That's true. So he probably
Paul
looked
Bettany's
up
only 39?
Or he might be 40, but I'm pretty sure I just looked it up and he's only 39.
Oh no, he's 49.
49.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I was going to say he's not saying that he looks super old, but he looks older than 39.
No, yeah, I looked up the age difference between them, and it's 49 to 31 for Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany.
So I'm going to read Bettany's full quote because I feel like we always just talk about it's an actor I've longed to work with, but he talks about, we have some amazing scenes together and I think the chemistry between us is extraordinary and fireworks on set. Man, who the fuck is this dude? Who is it? Or girl? Who the fuck is it?
Means that's exciting because that means whoever the cameo is at least comes face to face with the Vision. And if if they're coming face to face with the Vision in this series, that means it's going to be a bigger deal because
and especially given Vision, we're assuming next episode is probably going to re-up with Wanda again, considering where we left off with him and trying to get to Wanda. Like, I would say that paints a picture of like them all coming together. Like, to me, that just has villain written all over it. Like, their Vision, like, you know what I mean?
I agree. It can't be a good guy, They can't introduce another superhero all of a sudden. Like,
yeah, especially if Pietro's actually a good Quicksilver and he's not some
it could be
bad guy.
I don't think Pietro's actually Quicksilver.
No, I don't either. I don't either, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
I don't want to take anything off the table considering when last time we did that, fucking Agatha ended up being...
This is true.
I can't believe we gave up on that in episode 6. Like we held.
Yeah, we spent 5 episodes certain, and then episode 6 rolled around. We finally gave up on it, and then episode 7, they said, "Hey, fuck you."
Yeah.
Maybe they're listening in. They're just like writing it as they go. I mean, obviously they're not, and they're not writing it as they go.
No, they are. They're writing the episodes after we talk about.
Dude, Joseph, this is shot in front of a live studio audience. You couldn't tell, bro? Come on now.
This is true.
Man.
Let's see. Do we want to circle back to Photon because there's some cool stuff that happened with her, and I want to talk about like the aspect ratio sort of thing, and it gives like as Photon. I'm gonna call her Photon from now. I just like calling
she's
her Photon.
Photon now. Yeah.
Yeah. As Photon gets closer and closer to the hex, the aspect ratio changes and changes and changes. Kind of hinting out there's a TV show inside of a TV show.
Well, that's the whole. Every single time they change like dimensions or like universe, that it all changes aspect ratio to show they're moving between. That's why. Well, later on it does it.
Whenever Wanda was wanting to yeet Geraldine out of her dimension, the aspect ratio changed, but we were still inside the hex while Wanda was, talking to Geraldine and being like, what did you say?
Yeah.
Or Monica, sorry. And like the aspect ratio changed before Wanda yeeted her. Mm-hmm. So it's basically whatever is not shown on the sitcom, the aspect ratio changes. And I don't know, there could be something more there. Like it could be like an Inception type something where they're show inside a show inside a show.
The impression I got is anytime they go widescreen, it's just scenes are more cinematic. Like, they look like they belong in movies more. Like, and that's the tone of the scenes too. They're usually a more serious tone. They're less television-y. They're more like, yo, this is important. Pay attention.
So one thing,
but I think there's like there has to be a reason why they're changing like ratios, because there's a reason behind everything they do. There's no way that they're just like, oh, this looks prettier.
Yeah,
or, pay attention to this. I feel like there has to be a reason behind why they're changing.
Like obviously the aspect ratio in the older decades, it was shot in the aspect ratio that was around during that time. Mm-hmm. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about going from outside to in the hex, sort of.
No, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about when
it physically change or shrink. Yeah, exactly.
I know what you're talking about. I was thinking like throughout the time that I've been watching it, I've never once read into that. So it's interesting. I'm glad you guys have, because I have not. I've always just taken that as an artistic choice.
Yeah. I guess you can't really get much out of it, but what I just got out of it, I mean, we saw at the end of this episode that it is a show within a show within a show. So there's 3 now. And it's just kind of, I believe, is just hinting at the multiverse, just Inception sort of thing.
So I guess one thing that's interesting to talk about then would be like Photon. How come when she crossed into the hex this time, she had all of that stuff come up? You know what I'm talking about? Like where there was like flashbacks to her mom and like a bunch of stuff, right? Like she had the scene with
yeah, she heard the voices from her mom, Captain Marvel, Nick Fury, the doctor who told her mom's dead, Jimmy Woo came up during it, which I thought was interesting and lends my theory a little bit that Jimmy and Monica have something a little bit more going on. I feel like
sexual tension per sorts.
Oh, I missed you so much, Joseph.
I actually addressed this last week. I don't think they have a sexual tension, but I think there's some sort of kinship there that they both really dig. And like him coming up at all during such a moment.
That's true. Yeah.
Tells me something.
So I had a couple of thoughts about this, because I thought at first maybe it's your own will. Like she is fighting going into this. So that's what changed her. And it's just not 3 times that she, went in back and forth into the hex, but she also went in her own will, at the very beginning when she just walked in. Well, but the thing is, it wasn't red, or it wasn't, all whatever you want to call it, glitchy.
When we thought the red meant it was like an interdimensional portal, it turns out that was a lockdown. That was like nothing gets in. So I don't know if it was because her cells had already been manipulated to be in that reality, so that's why she was able to get through. But I couldn't tell you why it took 3 times for her to, gain powers. Like maybe it's just a different person to person thing,
or maybe her powers allowed her to go through. Like maybe she was already Photon but didn't unlock it a sort of way, and fighting through this was her way of like, maybe it would kill her original body, and then now she's just now photon, sort of like a metaphor of walking into a new sort of
being reborn.
So who knows? I mean,
maybe, as I said last week, she's been she's had powers all along. She just hasn't known it, and finally this like awakened her, her mutant powers or whatever you want to say.
I don't think so. Just because of that one X-ray / MRI thing they did of, all of her cells being straight.
I think that could be like they're not active, like they like.
But we also talked about it last week, and I said whenever like we were talking about it, whenever they told her about that, she very quickly brushed it off as if this wasn't something to worry about.
How many times the show do that?
I heard that out last time, and I really agreed with it, but. This week, the reason I kind of laid back off that is because at the end of this episode, when she's talking to Wanda, she tells her the worst thing imaginable has already happened to me when she lost her mom. So it's like, now she doesn't give a shit about shit else. It's like, oh, my cells are being rewritten. Fuck it, man. I know, like that's the impression I have now. Like, but initially, I 100% agreed with you up until she.
Yeah, I just felt like throwing that in there.
Yeah, you did throw that out. You did predict that part, but it was just overall good. I like the last little quote where she was like, where Captain Marvel comes over, over the sound, and she says, your mom's lucky. When they were handing out kids, they gave her the toughest one, and then like it all comes crashing together, like all the different versions of herself, and even the young version of herself made a small appearance during it. And I liked the Nick Fury quote where he's like, where she's like, maybe I can fly up and meet you halfway, and he's like, if you learn to glow like your Aunt Carol. And I like that because like she like right here she learns to glow like her Aunt Carol. What's interesting to me is when she gets through, what is she seeing? Like, what is this like? Can she see through? The impression I got was like it was a quantum realm situation. She can see. Yeah. She can see into the quantum realm somehow.
Something multiverse, something quantum. Definitely something that's not, to be overlooked.
Yeah, like I think she's probably going to have something to do with maybe an Ant-Man storyline potentially because of that. And that would also tie her in with Jimmy Woo. Oh my goodness. It all just falls.
Dude,
it all ties honestly, back into Jimmy Woo.
That actor, he has to feel on top of the world right now.
No, everyone loves him.
The world loves him. The world loves that guy.
It's the most popular show on earth, and every person who watches it loves Jimmy Woo.
Don't even watch it. Probably still love Jimmy Woo.
He's literally a Fed in like the best sort of like I don't even know how you make
the only
so
Fed
likable. I don't know how you make that so likable. But my man, even in Ant-Man, was like from get-go, like from the rip, even though he was there to like make sure Paul Rudd wasn't on no fuck shit, he was still likable somehow. I don't know how.
I think what solidified
the Park is phenomenal.
I think what solidified it was the card trick at the very beginning that he did, the little business card, little magic trick, and then him bringing coffee and just that big smile on his face of him just like about to give coffee to his friends. Like it was just so cute and like,
oh, Christmas, there'll be empty nesters by dinner time.
Yeah,
like,
he's
adorable, you know?
He's just a heck of a guy. I strive to be like this man.
And that part when Monica, like she hops out of the rover, right? And she looks back to Jimmy, and says, I can get through. And he's like, and before she even said anything, he was like, no, like you.
Yeah.
And then she turns and the way he yells her name, like the guttural, Monica, no. Like, I feel like there's
so much sexual tension.
It's personal. It's not even.
I should have never said that. No,
I'll say that. Like, it is very interesting, the dynamic. Like, it is so much, like, more emotional. Like, it's so much more, like...
Weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't exactly, like, compare it to any other, like...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's weird because, like, I feel like they don't... I feel like they never, like, build a relationship between two characters this way. Like, they don't ever build it this way. Like, taking this route where it's, like, so much more, like, it... I don't know, pure, I guess is wholesome. I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
Like, I disagree with like wholesome so much because it almost seems like a not a shared trauma sort of thing, but like Jimmy called her out there, she got sucked in, was mind controlled and put through hell, and then he felt like maybe I don't know. Like I can't figure out what it is that makes them so feel like they have such a weird dynamic, but like it's not weird. It just feels like it feels right when they're on screen together, you know? Like they have
Maybe she watches WandaVision and knows that Jimmy Woo is the guy.
Maybe,
you know?
Maybe
she want to fuck with the Woo.
She wants
Who wouldn't?
Like emotionally.
like emotionally. He wants to know Photon's soul.
Yeah.
What are Photon's powers? Like, do we know her powers?
I do not know the full scope of her power.
MCU wise, they've not really been established.
Yeah.
Like no comics, no anything.
Well, no, I'm saying like in the MCU, it's like she can see like energy. And then I think in the
I saw that where she saw like the magnetic fields and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because
but I wonder
when like, can I fly up and meet you halfway? When you learn to glow like your Aunt Carol, like she's going to be able to fly. That's what.
Okay.
In the comics, she could fly. She was fast. She can phase through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
kind of like Vision can.
Wait, if she can through stuff, maybe that's part of why she could get through the barrier.
She apparently can make herself invisible.
Sounds kind of fucking dope, bro.
Yeah, she can like absorb and like transfer energy and shit like that.
Oh, her and Captain Marvel are going to be a lethal team up.
Oh, yeah.
A lethal team up. Oh my god.
What if she just takes the energy like out of everything? Like, what do you think What do you think she would have seen if she would have seen the Infinity Stones be destroyed by the Infinity Stones? What kind of visual do you think she would have seen?
I don't even fucking know. I don't know.
Sorry to put a weird mood on that. But anyways,
what if she just like steals Captain Marvel's energy?
Yeah, like
can she do that? Yeah.
Yeah, it just takes like it is interesting. The Tesseract power out of her.
It is an interesting question, like how the Infinity Stones would have reacted to her. Like what's the breadth of that? How much energy can she absorb and transfer? It's she could be a potentially very powerful movie in the Marvel universe.
I think it's great that I hope she's like a Phase 4, Phase 5 hero, like becoming one of the main new Avengers. I don't really know what to call them. I don't think they're going to be called the Avengers. Maybe they will.
Well, what's interesting is the way we're building towards. It seems like if like now it's foggy what Billy and Tommy even are potentially. Are they real?
Well, especially since we don't know where they're at.
Where are they?
Maybe.
What's going on? I don't know the deal with Billy and Tommy, but it seems like we're laying the path for young superheroes. Like Monica Rambeau, and then Haley Steinfeld's Hawkeye series that's coming up. She's shooting that, so that's like an automatic new Hawkeye. We got Billy and Tommy along with Monica Rambeau, so maybe they age up again and they're part of that. There's just so many potential futures with this.
So I wonder, do you feel like we could be building toward, like, I think Young Avengers / New Avengers has to be somewhere on the radar. Like it's like that's had to be in discussion at Marvel. Like I refuse to believe they have not included that. And especially given we're getting what's Haley Steinfeld's character's name? You just said it and I just literally forgot it.
I did not say it because I forgot it. I called her Hawkeye because that's who she's going to be. I can't remember.
Okay.
Hawkeye. I can't.
They
remember.
better make it cooler than original Hawkeye.
Fuck original Hawkeye, bro. The original Metro and Black Widow died for Hawkeye. I cannot forgive them for that.
So Andy's just a shitty character. Sorry. Yeah.
No, you're fine.
This guy. Continue before I just blow my gas.
So, like, I guess my thing is to me, it just seems so seamless. Like, you've got Tom Holland's Spider-Man, who just literally today said he wants to do 10 movies even if they would allow it. Like, if they want him, he'll do it. I'm not saying they'll go that crazy.
He'd be a young Avenger.
Yeah, so, like, that makes sense. And especially, like, as heartbreaking as it, like, losing Chadwick Boseman sucks because everything I heard was saying that he was going to be like the new like guy, like the new Cap for the Avengers, like the new Avengers, you know what I mean? And that's horrible. To me, like new Avengers, like, or the young Avengers or whatever makes so much sense, especially with the addition of Billy and Tommy.
Sure.
You've got Photon. Yeah, exactly. And you've got Hawkeye, like we just talked about, Haley Steinfeld's Hawkeye, Tom Holland. Cap's going to come back. We know this. Like, we know Chris Evans' Cap is back. Like, he could just be in an mentor role. Like, he might not be like in the trenches necessarily, but like he could just be like, hey, look, I was a part of the original Avengers. This is how it kind of went. Like,
maybe he's their version of Professor X, kind of
like building it. Yeah. Like, I just feel like that seems to like be a direction that would make a lot of sense.
I agree completely.
God damn, Colton, we really took your whatever you were like your plan for this episode and said, fuck that shit. We're gonna do whatever the fuck we want.
This is exactly what I wanted. This was a conversation that the Photon section of the show inspired. It does not matter where the conversation goes, as long as it's inspired by something we started with, you know? And that was
wrong. This is our episode now.
I'm the captain of this ship.
I think we covered Photon pretty well, though. I think we can really grab anything we could out of it. I don't know. Is there any more details? I guess the only other scene with her that's really important is her confronting Wanda.
But yeah,
and at the very end. But
yeah, we'll bring that up later for the culmination part of it when all the storylines kind of come together there at the end.
Yeah. Also, sorry, real quick. The Haley Steinfeld, Hawkeye, I think she's literally just going to also be Hawkeye.
Yeah, me too.
It's one of those things where they're not going to like rename the character because they never did it. They never did it most of the time in like the comics either. They would just have someone else take over the mantle of that character.
Yeah, that's 100% what they'll do. I was thinking of like the actual name, like Clint Barton.
I think they're going to have her named differently than they did in the
comic book.
In the comics, because I think isn't she supposed to be his daughter?
Oh yeah, he is her daughter.
In the MCU, yeah, like she's going to be his daughter, whereas in like the comics, she was like an entirely different person.
Yeah, you're right.
Her name in the comics was Catherine Bishop.
Katie Bishop. That's right. Okay. Yeah, they went a different route with that then. But
yes.
Next, let's talk about Wanda and the kids, since we were talking about the Young Avengers here. I love that early on in this episode, Wanda has no interest in her kids. She does not want to help them, do anything with them in the slightest. Even when Billy comes to her having these new powers he got the night before, she has the same powers, and he says, "Hey, Mom, my head is loud. What do I do?"
That's exactly what Professor X says.
You gotta help your fucking kid, man. He's had these powers a day.
Nah, figure that shit out.
She wasn't, though. I mean, I get it. You know, she's depressed. She's really feeling it. But like, god damn, he's here. His head's really loud, bro. You gotta help him try to hold shit in. That can be painful.
I think it's a. Sorry, go ahead, Miles.
I was just going to say, listen, back whenever she was a kid, she figured her powers out, walked uphill both ways in the snow, figuring her powers out. He can figure his out.
She was basically trained by Hydra, so, I mean, she didn't really have a childhood.
No, but also, was she really trained or just kind of kept in a cage and said, go to town?
True.
But, I mean, Billy, like, saying, like, you know, the voices are really loud or something. I don't know the exact quote, but, I mean, it's very Professor X to me. I mean, it's pretty much line for line what Professor X says, you know, as he's going through his power transformation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just the problem of any telepath throughout these movies. Like Jean Grey in the X-Men, when she's having a nightmare, she can hear everyone because she can't control it, you know? Like, it's just like that's never good for a telepath whenever they
Do
they
we
hear
know
everything.
his middle name? Because what if it is Xavier, and what if this is how they bring in Professor X? This is the new Professor X.
Wouldn't that be wild if they were just like,
That would be.
Professor X is Wanda Maximoff's son?
That'd
pretty
be
insane.
crazy, and I don't think they're gonna do that.
I don't think so either, because then they'd be completely changing the character. And
Yeah, I think that'd be a step too far.
Yeah.
he has a lot
I'm just
more.
throwing it out there.
for X
Just
did.
throwing it out into the wind. Maybe it happens, maybe it not.
I feel you. But they came up in there talking about how the video games are changing, like there's something wrong with them. And I liked the progression of the video games throughout history. You had the little joystick, you had the Nintendo, you had the Wii, you had all these stuff throughout the eras, and I loved that. And then I like how Wanda also sees it with the milk cartons later on. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about."
Can we stop at the milk carton? There was one of the milk cartons that had a missing persons. It was a person on it. I couldn't really get a good look at the face. It was kind of blurry-ish, but
I think it was just a reference to the era, just because they used to put missing people on cartons.
okay. I didn't know. I really didn't know if it was anything. I kind of just
No, I was watching it with Emily, and she was like, rewind that. I want to see who that. I was like, we did a couple times, and I was like, I just really don't think that's anybody, honey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't think it was anybody either. I just like to grab anything out of anything.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and I wanted to go back and look at it a couple times too, just in case, like, what if it was like Billy or Tommy on the box? Like, then what does that mean? What
that shit would be crazy.
Yeah, just stuff like that. But she's just so candid with the kids throughout this episode, where she tells them that she was like, they were like, Uncle Pietro said, and she was like, don't you listen to a word that guy says. He is not your uncle. And they're like, then who is he? And then she's like, ha ha ha, not gonna answer that. And then they're like, where's Dad? And he's like, oh, and she's like, I don't know. And then they're like, why is he gone? And he's like, well, if he doesn't want to be here, I can't keep him around. And it's like, that's not exactly something you want to hear from your mom in reference to your dad. Like,
yeah, I did not like that. I didn't like that. I didn't feel like she parented that well at all.
Like a couple episodes ago, she didn't want Vision to leave at all, and she was just like, you have everything you want. Why would you ever want to leave? Sort of like way. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Why did she did?
That's what's interesting, is that ties for me into Agatha's storyline, because I feel like what we've been seeing the last couple episodes with Pietro and the small things that were fucking with Wanda early on in the series is that Agatha has slowly been chipping away at Wanda to get her in a place that was vulnerable enough where she could get her alone without Vision, without anybody. That's also why she acted and got Vision to try and leave the Hex. She was doing her best to try and get Wanda alone. What for? I could not tell you. But
question: whenever Vision touched Agatha's head, does Vision see Agatha's memories? Is that in his weapon?
No, I think he's just like counteracting Wanda's powers power over them.
He had a greater reaction than he did if he saw all of Agatha's memories.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But yeah, that's where that gets interesting for me, is like that then ties into like what's been going on the whole time, who's controlling what. It gets really muddy right there, but I don't really know. But right then when she's telling the kids that everything is meaningless, what a
great thing to tell your kids.
Yeah, she's like, I'm your mother, so you expect me to have all the answers, but I have no answers. And like, if she would have left it at that, like, I'd have been like, okay, that's just a really stressed out mom. But then she was like, I'm beginning to think that everything is meaningless.
Yeah, no, as a child, imagine hearing that from your mother. Like,
that'd be pretty fucking funny.
Fuck. Whole new appreciation for my mom. Like, shout out to her. She really she was holding shit down, because I wonder if there were days where she was feeling that shit.
Well, there had to be. Like, I cannot fathom the stress of parenthood, bro. That shit must be hell.
Yeah, and like like, no, here's the thing. Like, I am not going to try to sit here and act like the superhero shit that Wanda's dealing with right now is, like, not on par with what happens in reality. But, like, still, I'm no reality. We all have had experience with reality being a bitch. Like, poor my mom, poor her for having to deal with whatever fuckery goes on in the course of a day and coming home to me and my sister and being little shitheads. Like,
all right, I don't want to seem stupid. Billy is which one and Tommy's which one? Like, as their
Tommy
powers.
does super speed.
Okay, so do you think Billy can read Wanda's mind?
Probably not. I would assume it's probably similar to, like, he can't read Agatha's mind later on. I would assume because of, like, the nature of her and probably also Vision. Probably not Vision's because Wanda can read Vision's mind in, like, later on in Ultron. So I think it's probably just, like, the nature of, like, her powers. Mm-hmm. I feel like her mind's probably, like, off limits to other telepaths.
Yeah, like she has that shit held down somehow. I'd agree with that. And probably the same for Agatha, because when Billy was up in that house later, he was like, I like it here.
It's quiet.
You're quiet, Agnes, on the inside. And I was like, oh my God, this kid is from The Shining. But yeah, it was,
we are 45 minutes into this commentary, and we have not left the first person we are going to talk about.
We talked about Colton.
We've talked about a couple things.
Well, we haven't moved on to the second person.
Well, we've been talking about Wanda and the kids for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
But when Wanda opens the door for Agnes using her powers, not giving a single fuck, she's like, "I'm sorry, Agnes. I would have gotten up and greeted you at the door, but I just don't care."
I actually laughed at that. I thought it was just hilarious. I mean, it's sad and all, depression sucks and all, but like that line was pretty funny. I don't know.
I've related to that line. That's why it's funny. If you've related to that line, it's like especially funny. If you're like, I would do this tiny little thing, but frankly, I do not have the willpower.
It's like what everyone wants to say out loud, but they only think it inside their head. And Wanda was just, she just kind of let it out.
And I appreciated Agatha here. I'm going to refer to her as Agatha, even though at this point in the episode she's still Agnes. I like how she's there to aid her no matter what. And I thought it was funny when she tried to take the kids with her, and she was like, "Come on, kids, I don't bite." And then her confessional was, "I actually did bite a kid once."
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, there were that like whole like series of scenes I really enjoyed, but like the I'm beginning to think that life is meaningless, and then I just don't have the willpower to, and I bite kids.
Yeah, I also liked that in her confessional about the kids in regards to like, okay, maybe I was a little blunt there, but their father is Vision. They literally inherited tough skin. I was like, that's a shitty excuse. Wanda.
Yeah, no joke.
Shitty excuse. And human skin. Look at them.
And how tough was the skin at the end anyway?
Yeah, like let's look at Vision's results here.
It took some fingers to bust through that shit. And I'm not going to sit here and act like my fingers are capable of the same destruction of Thanos.
But you lost the right to say that you're tough whenever a dude just clawed your skull out.
Yeah, no, he just ripped some shit out of your head.
Just removed the shits. But Agatha takes the kids, walks out the door. What was the thing with the mole?
Yeah,
I don't know. That was a weird scene. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm confused as to, so is that Agatha trying to give Wanda the impression that she's in control? She's about to show her something uncomfortable. It pans away because Wanda would be uncomfortable. And she's like, and then she goes, boundaries. I get it. Say no more. She didn't say anything.
That's true.
So like, was it Agatha panning the camera away, convincing Wanda she's controlling it somehow? Like, I don't know. I don't know how much of the, like, is Agatha always controlling the camera? Is like she always behind the scenes? Is she the one always directing the shit?
We just don't know for sure. Yeah. It's just anything can go in this episode. It is so crazy how far it's changed from episode 1.
Oh, it's completely different show.
No, and I'm really interested to see because what Colton said would make sense. I could see getting an episode where it's denoted to what was Agnes up to in depth, like this whole time. But God, I just want the substance.
Yeah.
I want the stuff that we
I need more answers, and I just feel like what has Agnes been doing this whole time will not provide me the answers that I desire.
Yeah, and that's fair. And maybe they'll leave it like what has Agnes been up to at the clip they show at the end of this episode. Maybe
unless part of what has Agnes been up to entails her going to go see Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill as Mephisto.
Yes. If that's what it is, then you know what, I'll take it.
Absolutely. But when Agatha takes the kids on out the door, stuff starts changing around the living room through the eras.
Okay, you saying it in that way just made me realize that Agnes is a bitch, and I already knew this. This wasn't shocking news, but when I think about what she was. She took the kids to give Wanda the alone time and then proceeded to say, hey, Wanda, watch this shit. I'm going to fuck with you so hard.
No, that's what's shitty is she's trying to
make Wanda go insane.
That's what she's doing is she's trying to chip her to the point where she's so vulnerable that she's susceptible to whatever she's going to present to her at the beginning of next episode.
Absolutely. I hear you 100%, but it's just so fucked up in the head that she would do that.
It's so fucked up. It's so and that's what's so confusing is that Agatha Harkness in the comic books is never a villain. That I'm so befuddled. They're going a completely new direction here. It's fascinating. Yeah. But, when stuff starts changing all throughout the room, Wanda changes it back, and then we get to her confessional where she goes, I'm fine. And it's only people who are not fine say I'm fine 5 times when nobody asked.
Yeah, think about the what came to my head was Ross. I don't know if you guys are super versed in Friends, but the episode where Joey and Rachel are on it, and he's got the margaritas, he's plastered. I'm fine. I don't know why it's coming out like that. I'm fine.
It's outstanding. But, when she says that she's fine, we get another confessional here in a little bit where she says she doesn't understand why it's all falling apart, and she doesn't understand why she can't fix it. And that's what's really getting to her is that she can't fix the things that are going wrong.
I mean, could you imagine having a hold on literal reality as far as you thought, and then one day it just doesn't go the way you thought it would go?
One day you wake up and someone just looks you dead in the eye and says, psych, bitch.
Exactly. And when she says, why is it, I don't know why it's falling apart, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know why I can't. From behind the camera, we hear, do you think maybe this is what you deserve? And Wanda's like, you're not supposed to talk. And obviously...
Do you think Sword would have heard that outside on headquarters tuning into the show?
No, because at a point in this episode, Hayward actually asks about the broadcast, and she says it's dead air. And the reason, what gives me, this tells me that Agatha is really controlling shit. Agatha didn't want anybody outside to see this. So she went dead air.
Yeah. Because she has no reason to show any. At this point, she's done her task of getting Wanda. Because I'm assuming she's trying to make Wanda look like a villain, and I feel like she's accomplished that goal and has also made Wanda go insane. And so she has no reason to keep telling anyone else anything.
Sorry, my computer's about to die. I'm adjusting it right now.
All good. What if this is out there.
Are we about to get the Joseph Big Brain moment of the week?
Probably not. This is probably going to be shut up. What if the mailman is like Raven from the X-Men is like a shapeshifter, and he's just like checking out the scene, and he's a super important guy, and then all of a sudden, shapeshift, boom, Mark Hamill or whoever it ends up having to be.
Well, I've seen stuff
because that would just be such an
that,
evident misdirect.
Yeah,
if it's right,
I've seen stuff saying that
all of
that there's a good chance he works for, or like he's somehow involved with Agatha because of the fact, like in this episode, he's walking around at one point and he has like a rabbit on his hat, and he has like there's like things that point to like maybe he's potentially working for Agnes/Agatha.
This mailman, man.
Yeah, I dig that. Also, when Agnes walks off with Wanda later, Dennis is directly behind them, the mailman. He's following them, like for sure.
I also came up with it in my head. Doesn't work since his name is Dennis, but I'm saying that he's lying about his name, and his name is not actually Dennis, and that's actually Ralph. And that's why in like the first episode, whenever he walks by Agatha, she 100% checks out his ass.
Really? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, we talked about it. She walks by and she's like,
But they also have a weird interaction where he's like, where he says something and she's like, "Oh, stick him up," and he's like, "Oh, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot."
Oh
like,
yeah.
What
and like those interactions, I'm convinced that that's actually Ralph and that's her husband, and for some reason,
the line
he can say
lied about his name.
The line back in episode 1 or 2, whichever one it is, where Dottie's talking about the devil's in the details, and then Agatha is all, "That's not where all he is," sort of talk like that. Like
that's
her
not the
quotes.
only place he is.
Yeah. Those quotes back then, I think, mean a lot more than we think, and there's maybe some hidden ones, that we wouldn't even think about. I think the devil one stands out just because it involves the devil.
Yeah.
All right, you're saying we're watching all of them in reverse. We're going to play them backwards, and we're going to hear all of the subliminals. Bingo.
Well, and also just like all those quotes were the things that were making us think she was Agatha for the first 6 episodes until we switched and said, "Nah, she's not Agatha anymore."
Why did you guys switch? What happened when I was gone? Like
it was the her going insane in front of Vision.
Well,
we assumed that was when
she was in a witch costume.
Yes, we thought
she was in a witch costume.
What it was is that her him blinking her out of being controlled, that she had gone insane while she was being controlled, and then she would become Agatha after this series. Not that she was already Agatha.
I would have hard disagreed. No offense to you guys, but I would have hard disagreed against that.
Yeah, well, you weren't there, Joseph.
The obvious.
So what are you telling me? That last episode, you got the impression she was lying through her teeth?
I think it was just weird. I took it as a weird scene, and I just was like, "Oh, she's dressed in a witch costume. She probably saw the future from eating the dog that ate the leaves." And I said she probably saw something really, really bad, and now she's trying to fix it, whatever it may be. And then she was contemplating leaving because it was too much to bear, is what I was thinking during that scene.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. We're just curious to hear your thoughts on that. But now that we're talking about Agatha, let's get into we'll save her for last. Let's talk about Vision and Darcy a little bit here.
Yes.
So at the beginning of this episode, Vision wakes up outside that little circus that they've set up, and someone walks up with a big old S around his waist. There are people speculating that this guy will become Sentry from the Marvel comic books. But,
I don't think it's gonna be him. I just think it's a nod. It's too there to say it's not at least just a little wink.
Well, yeah, but they also had Agatha in a witch's costume last episode, so
shit, that would be because that dude was probably just a sword agent before. Now we're turning him into Sentry. That would be nutty.
Well, but I mean, if we're going with Photon going through, or Monica going through the hex is what potentially turned her into Photon, maybe some of these agents are going to become gain superpowers.
Yeah, we've been speculating about the Mother of Mutants thing all season, like maybe that's where we're headed. We just don't know yet. We'll see, I guess. But he tells him that he's the new clown and he's about to go on stage with the escape artist. And we learn that that's what Darcy has become because she was locked up to the front of the car. And I think it's interesting that just like straight up they were paired off immediately from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Like this guy approached him and was like, "You are with the escape artist," directed towards Darcy.
Escape artist was a very, they chose those words very carefully. Escape artist, Vision wants out, or maybe he doesn't, but he seems like he wants out.
Yeah. I
mean, they're just hinting everything everywhere. It's insane. This show's insane.
Absolutely. But, he chases her around the circus for a bit, trying to explain the situation, how the night before they locked eyes, there was an unspoken understanding, and Darcy, being mind controlled, is having absolutely none of it, but he eventually releases her of that mind control, and she comes to, and I liked how she was like, secretly I've wanted a spot on the show, but to be honest, that was not fun. Like that was a painful, that was a painful experience. And I thought that
she got lucky. Yeah, she got lucky. She was only experiencing that for like, I don't know, maybe a few minutes. I don't know how long Vision was asleep. But
also you skipped over the part where Vision cheated on Wanda.
What?
Where he kept like going after her and she goes, "Fine, I'll go on a date with you, but I'm ordering the lobster."
Yeah,
she's very calm. She's very calm about this being sucked into a different I won't say
I mean, like she understands how it happens. She understood how it happened. So she pretty much like came to and was like, I saw it coming, like as it was approaching her. So she knew she was going to be changed. Then she wakes up and she's also, like, "Oh shit, I was changed."
Yeah. Also, she knows there's nothing she can really do about it.
Yeah.
It's not like she can just walk out.
But yeah. I think maybe there's like some sort of time frame in which this could potentially become like even more traumatizing than just initially it happening at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but maybe she just she just handles it really well. I don't know.
I mean, I think it would be a lot less scary if you knew exactly what the thing was that you were going into. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think she had it the best that she could have gotten it, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. But, Vision and Darcy steal a food truck here, and they get on out of there. And this was such a Modern Family type scene with the music playing in the background where, like, and the guy's chasing them through it, and they're like, "Nope, sorry, the agent double booked us. We got to go. Darcy, step on it." Like, stuff like that, It was extremely, extremely sitcom-y, and when they're in this car ride, Darcy explains the events of Infinity War and his origin to Vision, and he comes to kind of realize what Wanda's been going throughout this whole time. He's like,
yeah, sorry, go ahead, go finish, sorry.
He's talking about how it feels like it happened to another person for him, but like it felt like weeks ago for Wanda, like it just happened.
Dude, in the scene where he's just like in the chair with the mic up and stuff, and he realizes that, it's like, at his core, his heart, quote unquote, heart, like he, no matter what she's done, no matter what his thoughts and feelings were on what she's done here, he's so concerned. And like that to me speaks volumes. Cause like just given like that arc they had and like that passion he felt for her and like he would like, he wants her to be safe and stuff. That seems so earned. It seems so earned for both of them. That like it's so nice to see that return because I hated when they were fighting. Like, you know what I mean? It felt like mom and dad fighting, literally. Like watching it felt like mom and dad fighting.
I think the next episode may start with like Wanda's thinking about Vision, like, "Oh my God, I just want him right now." Vision's thinking about Wanda, like, "Oh my God, I just got to give her a hug. I can't believe what she's been going through." And then that cures Wanda's, depression sort. Well, never mind. She can't go to Wanda because Wanda is in a basement full of. Never mind. Disregard everything I said.
Real quick, I just have to ask, what theme do you think we're going to get for the next episode?
I don't know. It's
like
I don't think we are.
You don't think we're going to get another TV series theme?
I think we might just be going widescreen now. You feel me? Like,
gotcha.
We just going all in on it because like now we're getting to the point where it's modern and you can't really reference anything that's ongoing.
Mando.
Turns into Star Wars.
That'd be really funny.
The theme song is just gonna be like
the Mandalorian theme. Or somehow it's gonna go back to a Western theme.
I love it.
Damn. Well, there is. Well, I guess Modern Family technically was the 2010s, right?
Yeah.
2020. There's just a pandemic going on inside the head.
No,
maybe
okay. There's been 2 times during the show they've mentioned like quarantine / shit, and I'm sorry. If COVID is gonna I don't think they're gonna make it a storyline, but if they would lean into it at all, I would be pissed. I don't want to watch my TV. I don't want to watch on my TV the shit I can go out of my house and fucking have to deal with. I don't want to see
that.
Yeah, 100%.
I've seen people talk about it on Twitter a lot about some shows that have done it. I remember somebody said Grey's Anatomy did it, but they did it well, and it's also a hospital show, so it just makes sense. But I saw there was some other show that leaned into it, and it was just awful. And it's no, I don't want to watch
it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. Nobody wants it, and everybody should know that nobody wants it. In terms of Grey's Anatomy, great example of something that applies. At least that's a story
that's earned. That's earned. That's acceptable.
Yeah, if you tie it into a Marvel property, it's a fucking joke.
Yeah, I watch TV to escape reality, especially Marvel television.
Especially WandaVision.
So I can talk like this for an hour and 5 minutes, talking about one episode.
Talking about the first 15 minutes of one episode.
Yeah, literally.
So yeah, this is why we do it.
It's absolutely why we do it. But, I do like this whole episode, this whole storyline with Vision here, where he's learning his origin again, He's so let me get this straight. My code comes from an AI called Jarvis, and my body was made from Ultron's plan for global genocide. Okay. But,
Ultron is
he's so what am I now? I like that he's so what am I now? And this is what confirms to us that it's definitely tied to the existence of this reality, his revival, because she was I'm a STEM kind of lady, so I'd assume that they just flipped a switch in your head and you came back, but it doesn't seem like that's the case because you can't leave the hex, So I think that's a direct nod to them being them
very
going
weird.
in.
That'd be the weirdest experience ever, dying and then having someone explain your entire life story. Well, almost life story. Be very strange.
It'd be the wildest shit ever. But he asked what he was. She says, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And she says, but she does know that she's been watching WandaVision for a week and that the love they have is very real. And I like that. I like that Darcy's just a fangirl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've been watching the TV show that she's written for you.
She even said she secretly wanted to be in it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's every fan's dream.
Fan fiction. She's just living fan fiction.
Yeah. That's so.
But they encounter some road blockage throughout their storyline too, and he seems to think it's Wanda sending the construction but it's Agnes, right? It's Agatha that's doing it.
Definitely. It's not time for Vision to intervene yet.
Yeah, exactly. But
it's not part of the plan.
Absolutely. And so when he realizes that she's been through so much shit, I'm just gonna get up out of here.
I can through walls and stuff.
It's hilarious that it hadn't occurred to him earlier that he could just fly home. But it's funny that he just hopped right out of the car without telling Darcy shit, and she was just like, "Okay, I'll see you back later then."
Oh man, that was hilarious. I laughed when he basically just dipped. He just went straight up. I don't know. I think that was just
what took him so long. What,
I think
why did my
most-
man?
dude, he just learned his whole life story. He learned that he died. He learned that Wanda is
He did have a
experienced.
lot of questions. He had a lot of questions. She had
Fair.
answers. He wanted to spend time with her, figure some shit out, and then he got everything he needed, so he dipped.
And I also think it was a bit of like he just forgot he could. Like he was so like
Immersed.
focused on like immersed and focused on like what he was learning, and then he like started questioning. He was like, "Wait a minute, why am I sitting here to like waiting for kids to walk across the street? I can fly. I can phase out of this car and fly." And then he's like, "What the fuck am I doing?" And that's whenever he dips.
Bro, how sick would it be to be walking as a kid from school and you just see a fucking superhero fly off? That would be lit as fuck.
I mean, sick if you forget about the fact that they're also being mind controlled and going through, you know.
Damn.
So
Very
before we get
Damn,
into
that's the end of Wanda. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the end of Wanda, or that's the end of Darcy and Vision. We're on to some.
yeah, exactly, because we don't
big
see Vision
time
again
shit.
the rest of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So
Where do you think he ended up? I guess before we leave.
The house for sure. He's going nowhere but the house.
he's heading home, and he's gonna notice nobody's there, and that some shit's going on next door at Agatha's. You know, I think that's where we're headed.
Especially if he runs into Monica and Pete or Pietro hanging out on the outside snooping.
Snooper's gonna snoop, but so before we get into Agatha and the culmination of this episode, let's talk about the Nexus commercial, the antidepressant. So the Nexus in Marvel lore is a portal to travel between dimensions, essentially, and there are Nexus points and Nexus beings, and in the comics, Wanda is typically a Nexus being where she can control who goes through what dimension, and that would make the Hex probably a Nexus point.
Well, I think not the Hex specifically, but Agatha's basement is the point between dimensions. Because they kind of mentioned it, actually. There was a line. Sorry, I'm really hazy. All this medication kind of made me kind of forget a lot of crap. But there was a line of something about this basement is special or something like that. So, like, it's not affected by the Hex. I don't know. I forgot what it was. But I think the basement is, like, kind of the link between the real world and the Hex.
That would make sense because, speaking to your guys' the aspect ratio thing, it does shrink. It's not part of the show. It is locked. It is locked out of the TV show. You know, that's not part of it.
Dang. That would make sense. I guess we're probably going to get an answer next episode. I would assume.
Probably,
Maybe not.
But you know, in the commercial it says Nexus because the world doesn't revolve around you, or does it? And I like that because it's just like who are we following here? Is it Wanda? Is it Agatha? Who's the world revolve around? What are we doing here? And then there's the extra layer if we are getting into that interdimensional travel thing, if you're a Nexus being, the world does revolve around you. That's literally how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So
the world revolves around you, or the universe revolves around you, no matter who you are, mathematically. Just throwing that out there, it's pretty cool because you're special.
We're all special in that way.
I guess if we're all special in the same way, is that really special?
That's deep, Joe.
I'm sorry.
That's heavy. I think I need some Nexus. But, let's jump into Agatha Harkness's storyline, and then we'll head into the culmination of the episode here. She made her entrance earlier at Wanda's when Wanda was really about to lose it. Her confessionals were outstanding about it. She was like, I think I got here right in the nick of time. She was really about to, cut her own bangs. Seemed like she was in that place. And then, actually, I did bite a kid once. She shows her mole. We talked about all that with Wanda's storyline, just kind of lumped it in. But, it's all fishy because like the whole thing just feels weird. She doesn't mind Wanda uses her magic. She walks right in. She knows exactly what she needs to do because Wanda said earlier that she needs alone time. So she's trying to take the kids away.
This mole thing is weird. I just don't know what to think about it.
I don't get it.
A suspicious looking mole. Take a look at it. Who does that, even to a friend? I don't know if I would show any of you a suspicious looking mole on my back. being honest.
And
Maybe.
I appreciate that, Joe.
Dude,
I appreciate
come on, Joseph.
I thought we were closer than that, Joseph.
We are close, but I don't want to show you. I think it's just disgusting to show you a suspicious mole that appeared on my back. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're looking out for me more as a friend if you don't show me the suspicious mole on your back.
Just to clarify, I was kidding. I don't want anyone listening to think I'm down to like just inspect these moles on all of my friends' bodies. Like I ain't with that. Like it was a joke.
To anyone listening, I was not kidding.
But I mean, like,
Hey, to
forehead
each
and
their
shit,
own.
but
Correct.
kiss your homies on the forehead and shit, but don't go inspecting their moles. That's just a rule
I think that's Rule 38, actually, in the Bro Bible, I
in
think.
the bro.
Oh, it's 38 and 39. No, 38 is kiss your homies on the forehead. 39 is, but don't inspect their moles.
But never
This is
inspect
true.
their moles. 39. But you know, when she gets the kids out of Wanda's house, she takes them back to her place, and I like this scene too because Billy's sitting there petting the rabbit, and he's like, "I like it here. It's quiet. You're quiet, Agnes."
Do you think she's doing that to him?
I think
no, I think it's
can't be. I don't think telepaths work on her. Like I think she
He's
can
in
block that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Point. He's in the point between dimensions. That's why I can't hear anything.
I don't think her house is the point between dimensions.
Well, no, but if he can't hear anything outside like he could at Wanda's, maybe there is credence to that theory.
maybe.
I like this more and more that we talk about it, actually.
Or maybe it's just that she makes it so telepaths can't do shit inside of her house, and maybe that's why Wanda doesn't know that she has a whole ass basement underneath her house that
Did Wanda ever use her powers?
leads to a different dimension.
Did Wanda ever use her powers in the basement? Did her hands ever glow up whenever she went down there?
No.
I don't think so.
Maybe powers are just not allowed down there. I don't know. I think
use
Wanda-
hers, but you know it's her basement, so
Yeah, I think Wanda would be on guard. Like, I don't know. I'd have my hands up and fucking.
I
I'd be
think
ready.
she was too confused at that point.
Yeah, that's true. This is true.
yeah. But you know, they have that little scene. Then Tommy asks if their mom will be okay, and she just kind of looks at him like, yeah, she'll be fine. Your mom's super mom. She's gonna be great. And then her confessional where she's like, how are you supposed to tell a 10-year-old that her mother is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? I was like, it's funny because like she's the one really driving it home that she's the one that Wanda's losing her mind. Nobody else has ever even acknowledged that. But you know, Agatha's out here like, you know, I think if I hadn't gotten here, she was really gonna lose it. She's trying to like narrate it for us, like she's slowly losing her mind, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that there brings us to the culmination of the episode when Monica has gone through the hex and she's run into Wanda's home, and she arrives at the house and she bursts in and she's like, and hilarious to me that she thought any of this would mean a damn thing to Wanda. Like, bro, she walked in there and went, this whole thing, it's about Vision, Hayward. Like she doesn't give a fuck about Hayward.
I don't think she definitely approached it with as much touch as would be expected.
Well, but from her point of view, she doesn't know that Agnes is, that it's Agatha all along. So she can't, take the point of view of like, oh, something deeper is going on. From her point of view, it's Hayward is up to some shit, and that's what she's trying to explain. And then Agatha comes over and is like, hey, bitch, you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, she just bursts in there like, yo, this whole thing is about Vision. And Wanda's like, don't you talk about that. I don't want to hear about that right now. She just got real stern mother tone with it. And it was a little confusing and arousing. But, she lifts Monica up into the air and then yells about all that Sword has done, the drone, Pietro, and Monica's like, that wasn't us, I promise. And then she tries to slam her down, but Monica, she glows as she hits the ground and then like locks eyes with her blue shit glowing. She looking like an anime character and shit. And then
that was hard, bro. Hard. Do you think Wanda was at all like shocked or scared?
Like, damn,
Yes, I think she was visibly confused. Like,
I think she was. Yeah, I think she was shocked. I don't think she was scared.
no, not scared, but like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, who the fuck are you?
You wearing contacts or like, what are you doing? I don't know. Maybe that's what's going through her head. Like, well, why did you change?
When she hit the ground and shit, like the white light like flashed too underneath her. So I thought that was interesting.
I'm interested in her character. I think it's gonna be really cool what they do.
I
with
think
her.
she's gonna have a great future in the Marvel universe for sure.
Dude,
but,
so we saw that they pitched the X-Files. That was involving her, correct? Like the X-Files theme show, like that was pitched, right? We saw that.
I mean, it was pitched at a guy said it was pitched at Marvel, but there is the chance that like they may have already had plans with Jimmy Woo or something, so they might take that idea. But
I guess my question was Monica involved in that or not? Was that supposed to be a like buddy cop like Monica / Woo thing?
I don't think so. I think it was clear from the get-go here that Monica had a bigger purpose to serve.
Okay, well, no, and that's totally fine. I just didn't know because I was like, whoa, that X-Files theme show is going to get way more interesting if she has superpowers. Like,
well, that's the thing though, is that like maybe they somehow figure a way to kind of make that happen. Like, what if they see that because of WandaVision, people really enjoy Jimmy Woo, and it just so happens that Jimmy Woo and Monica have a wonderful on-screen chemistry. I don't see why not putting them in stuff together, you know?
This is what it's going to be like. You ever seen the Lilo and Stitch TV show? Fuck the movie. Like, the movie's great, but the TV show where they used to go around and capture all the little fucking experiments.
Mm-hmm.
What if that's what we're going to get? Superhero shit. Like, not superheroes, but like they go find people that are like
X-Files, X-Gene, capturing X-Men, women.
Mutants and shit.
I don't think Jimmy would be in that business. He wouldn't want to catch him. He's not like that.
That's the thing, is that there are theories about that's like the business Hayward is in.
Yeah, there's still something very fishy going on with Hayward. I don't like how the attention was kind of not, blown off of him like Hayward's like it was, and it's like nothing.
Well, I do think it's important that he just didn't have a lot to do in this episode anyway. Yeah. Like that, it was a lot of other important stuff going on. But it's also important that Jimmy and Monica actually address cataract. They say that that Vision was not trying to. Hayward wasn't trying to decommission Vision. He was trying to bring him back online, and that nothing worked until Wanda brought him back. So that's why he's been tracking him, and that's also why he's probably willing to burn everything down, because he's not going to kill Vision. He could kill everybody else, but he's not going to kill Vision,
Mm-hmm. Man, there's still something shady going on. Something shady's going on.
I mean, there's always something shady going on.
I guess I'm just going to be mad. Like, I don't want to say mad. I was just really sold that Hayward had a much, like, way bigger, like, position other than just being being a scummy Fed. And I just feel like we're going to get this, like, him going away in handcuffs, like, you darn kids, like that, like, Scooby-Doo ending type shit. And, like, that's it. And, like, I don't know. I'm not saying that's not good enough, considering we may get something better. But, like, I was just very confident for a good while that was, like, he was much, much bigger.
There's still a chance that he could be a bigger bad guy.
Shit, man, I don't know. Sorry, my internet is a disaster. So you guys cut out for a while there. I just said, shit, man, I don't know. Hopefully it was applicable.
We heard.
You know what? It was, we heard.
Good guess.
Perfect. But, Wanda's visibly confused when Monica appears to have powers, and they have a little bit of a standoff, and she tells Wanda to take her out. And obviously, this is going to shake Wanda, given that the last person who told her to take them out was, her husband Vision. So she's obviously going to be shaken by that idea. And Monica's really happy to see this. She's like, that's the difference between you and Hayward. He will kill everyone here just to get what he wants. And she's like, do not let him make you the villain, because he's going to use her as that excuse. It's like, well, if I can get Vision out of there and she's already doing the bad shit, I can just say she killed them, like maybe that's the case. But you know, Wanda retorts that maybe she already is the villain. And peeking from her window here, we see Agnes sees what's happening and heads over. But Monica tells her here that she's also lost the closest person to her. That's the worst thing imaginable has already happened. So basically, she's just telling Wanda, you need to confront your grief in a healthy way. Like, take down this fucking place and let's talk about this shit. Essentially, like, that's what I got from this spiel.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
because
totally.
that's ultimately her point, right? It's like, you got to take this down. That's all she's trying to get her to do.
Just sit down and talk.
Yeah, and Agnes makes her way over there, and she's like, young lady, I think you have overstayed your welcome. And as she tries to walk away with Wanda, Monica tells her that she has to take it down. And Wanda, fierce as fucking ever, turns around, having to be held back by Agnes, and says, no, don't make me hurt you. And I was like, damn. Wanda, that is not on the table for her. It seems like she was willing to hear Monica out if she had other requests. Mm-hmm. But like asking her to take down the barrier is just something she is not going to do.
Not it. Yeah, she's not going to do that.
I'm just going to keep talking because, yeah.
We can hear you now.
Am I back? Okay, cool. But, Monica follows them as they head home along with Dennis close behind. And I think it's important that Dennis, is just, he seems to be in the know about things, and I don't know why. It just strikes me as weird. But, Wanda is brought into Agnes's home. She takes a seat on her couch, and as Agnes goes to make her tea, Wanda takes a breath. She looks to the food in front of her, and then to the TV playing Yo Gabba Gabba. And then she looks around and she sees a locust crawling on the curtain nearby.
This is
it's
the
all
bug.
Just very, very sinister and ominous, and you don't know what.
Yeah,
this bug got the most attention a bug has ever gotten in history ever.
Bro, there's a movie called Bug's Life, Joseph. I hate to burst your bubble.
Okay, second after Bug's Life. I mean, I think the internet flipped out about this bug, like saying this is, what Ralph.
Can we talk about why locusts / cicadas / whatever the fuck you want to call? I ain't calling them that 7-year whatever the fuck people call them. That's stupid. I don't believe that shit. Anyway,
it's cicada.
Yeah, whatever. Why are they always so involved in badness?
Because they're gross and nasty. And
I don't disagree.
They always especially flies and shit. They're always anytime things decay or shit, there are flies around it, and so I think they're seen of as a sign of decay and all that shit.
I just want to know what the relevance, why that bug associated with this person. What's the deal?
Well, the very first appearance in a comic book by one character named Mephisto, not the very first appearance, but the introduction to his origin, the earliest in the timeline of his is him appearing as a fly,
which is weird.
That's the very first thing he does. So,
do you think this is a nod, or they're playing exactly as he was in?
There's too much devil shit in this, bro. He has to be. I don't know if he'll come up in this show, but he has to be the bigger bad overall.
I really hope he is, because I'm going to be really pissed if all of this has all been just one big fucking red herring.
It very well could be.
It could be, but I would be furious.
That's what I'm saying. I just can't buy that Agnes is, and I'm not taking anything away from her character. I think she's playing a great job, and I think she's been very sinister, revealed now. She has been very villainous and sinister. I just can't buy that there's no one else involved. And Colton, we talked about this before. This just has the Loki pre-Thanos, this is the seed. This is the plant for a bigger villain, and that it has it written all over it.
especially considering the placement in the timeline, where this is the first thing post Endgame besides Far From Home.
Yeah, there has to be a
there
big
needs to be seeds planted.
correct.
So it just that just lends credence to the idea that she's serving something higher, or maybe is tying into something higher, maybe not necessarily serving them, but is somehow in cahoots with. I don't know. It's just confusing because Agatha's never been a bad guy, so that's what's difficult about this, and the comprehending it. It's just that, like, I don't know exactly where we're heading with it. But, Wanda asks Agnes where the kids are, and she tells her, oh, they're probably just playing in the basement. And as she walks off, she, like, looks directly at the camera. I don't know if you caught that, but she, like, looks directly at it as she walks off. And Wanda heads on down there, where she finds 2 doors, one covered in branches and roots, and the other is some sort of freezer. And to be honest, I don't know which is scarier to me. Did you see the door on the left looked like a freezer to me?
I did not see that.
Oh, I didn't even see the door. I was just so focused on the tree door that I really.
That's what's funny is that my attention immediately when I watched it went to the door on the left, because I was like, that's weird. But then the door on the right was even weirder, so I was like, okay, yeah, go through that one. But but yeah, it's like it looked like a freezer to me, and I don't know what that means. It's freaky. But she makes her way through the ominous branches, and we switch to the widescreen here. And this whole part here, when she was walking through, had such Age of Ultron vibes to me. Like, it was pouring out of the screen at that point. It was just perfect. But she looks around and she sees a very devilish lair. There's devil imagery all over this thing.
Hey. So I just stumbled across something. Did you know that Agatha Harkness in the comics a lot of times has a bunny? And that has in the past been her son, Nicholas Scratch, who's also a villain. Nicholas Scratch, who's a villain. Did anybody know that? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I did know that. But do you think that's Evan Peters?
Yes, that was something I was going to talk about. Is I think Evan Peters is potentially Nicholas Scratch, and that's why he has the fucking, remember the mom tattoo?
Oh shit! That makes so much sense.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I saw some stuff about him potentially being about the bunny potentially being Nicholas Scratch or whatever, and then I remembered both like the end where he walks up on Monica and is like, "Hey, quit snooping." I was like, all right, so clearly he's around the house, and there's like also in that scene, you can see it looks like someone is moves around inside right before he walks up on her. And then like the mom tattoo, I'm convinced that he's Evan Peters is Nicholas Scratch.
Yeah, he's Agatha's son. Like that's something that I've become fairly confident in. I didn't know any of the Nicholas Scratch stuff. I just thought it was just going to be some random this is actually my son. I didn't realize there was credence to that, actually. That's awesome.
Yes, she actually has a real son.
I'm looking at the door right now, and it's not as ominous as the tree one, but it's still very ominous.
Yeah, I also went and looked at it, and I see what you're talking about.
I don't know. I don't know if I get freezer vibes. Kind of. I don't think a freezer room would have that kind of door.
Yeah.
But
okay, I was going off first sight. I didn't even.
Yeah. It's interesting that the door is open, and it does look very ominous.
Well, like what's that even a door to at that point? Like at that level of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was thinking, could it potentially be the because we see in like the the door to the the little cellar doors on the outside.
Maybe.
Oh,
like the door to that walkway, because we see Monica approach that, and we can see some of the tree roots coming through that walkway.
Maybe.
This is true.
But she sees a book sitting there with an orange glow around it, and this would be really interesting considering Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has already kind of went over it. But the only thing I can possibly think that this could be is the Darkhold, which is a book of spells for dark magic, and but like that would just be another huge fuck you to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in terms of like the canon of it. Like they've already kind of shit all over it in terms of like what they want to be canon and stuff. But it would be interesting. It would be interesting if that's the Darkhold.
What? Okay, for dummies that haven't watched Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., can you explain what the Darkhold does, or do they even explain that in the show?
The Darkhold in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. brought back souls of the dead.
Oh. Okay.
So it could be relevant in regards to WandaVision.
Correct, but what is well? Does he have a soul first? I mean, I'm not trying to get into the nuance of that, but I mean, like, just
I'm just going off what it was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know if that's
correct.
The power of it.
So okay. I guess my question is then what is Agatha's play with it? What I know there's other things that can be done with it other than bringing back the souls of the dead, but if that is what they're going with, what is the play here? Who do they want?
I mean, it's just Agatha having, like, that would be, like, her potential, like, maybe potential, like, origin in that, you know, clearly she's supposed to be a witch that's probably been around for a fat minute. It would make sense for her to have probably, like, the most witchy book in existence.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've seen that it could also potentially be the Necronomicon, which is just a part of, like, it's kind of like a semi-copy of the Darkhold, but slightly different.
Yeah, like the Necronomicon is actually something that comes up in a lot more literature and lore throughout all of, like...
It's just a very evil book at that. It's just very evil, and you get that vibe immediately from it.
But
I mean...
Yeah, and Agatha walks in here, and she says to Wanda that she's not the only magical girl in town, and she says, "The name's Agatha Harkness. Lovely to finally meet you." And then she looks into her eyes and shows her what's been happening this whole time, and we get the slapper, Agatha all along. Who's
Banger.
been messing up everything? It's been Agatha all along. That shit slapped, bro. That was
perfect. I think this, Agatha all along, is equivalent to the Dark Troopers theme whenever they were activated and coming back into the ship.
I'm with that.
It's like the same kind of energy from it.
I'm with it. And I like that that's Catherine Hahn singing the Agatha all along, which is pretty awesome. She's a very talented lady. But through this whole montage, we see her sabotaging shit episode by episode. It shows her showing up in the first episode and giving the plant that we saw earlier in their living room being changed. She gives that to her in episode 1. In episode 2, the bunny sabotages a little bit of a trick during the magic show. In episode 3, she kind of wakes up Herb, confusing him a little bit. And then in episode 5, she's controlling Pietro. Then in episode 6, she's fooling Vision. And then in this episode, she's behind the camera when she asks Wanda, "Do you think maybe you deserve this?" So she's done one thing in every episode that's supposed to be like, huh, that's weird. She also killed Sparky.
Why would she do this from the start, though? Like, yeah, she might have saw the future from this plant, maybe. We don't know if it's true or not, but I would say most likely. But why would she be doing this from the get-go? Like, what's her goal?
Because I imagine she's probably only in there to fuck with Wanda.
But why? I don't think she just goes in there just to do it.
For whatever, whether it's something potentially with Mephisto, whether it's to try and control her powers. There are a bunch of different avenues for what the potential reason it could be, but there's a plan of she came in there to fuck with Agatha or to fuck with Wanda.
You think this confirms that Agatha kind of was the person that wiped Wanda's memories at the beginning, because that line of "I don't even know how all of this even started" sort of thing.
Probably.
That makes sense to me.
Or if Agatha's working for someone potentially that. But
I don't know, man. I'm excited to get answers on that.
The thing is I think Wanda created the Hex because she had the ability to turn it red and expand it. I think she has full control of the Hex and and pretty much everybody in it. And I think Agatha just has control over Wanda. So she's just on the pyramid of just above Wanda, but she controls all of Wanda, which in turn controls all of Westview.
I got the impression that she controls Wanda the way Wanda controlled Vision. You know, like she didn't actually have control over him, but she was disorienting her enough that it was confusing her and dwindling her into a little bit of a madness, you know?
That was a much better way to put it. Yes, definitely. Man, this is whatever next episode is. I hope they continue right off this point. I hope they don't go into some, flashback or,
I hope they just pick it up. I mean, with the post-credit scene, it tells me we're going right into it. Like, we're going to start with probably Monica and being introduced into the house somehow, and then Vision showing up maybe. I don't know. But, with the Snoopers going Snoop thing, what? So we're settling on Evan Peters as the bunny.
Yes. I would say that's probably all of our opinions as of right now.
I'm with that. All right, guys. I don't have anything else to say about this episode. Do you?
I just think it was funny that you guys didn't know there was an end credit scene. I didn't either. I just kind of let it play on my TV, and I'm like, I just saw something pop up, and I'm like, I immediately went to my phone to text you guys. I didn't even watch it, so I rewound it so I would maybe watch it with you.
Joseph. I did. I see you because didn't you and Kyler both get caught in the old Disney crash of 2021?
Yeah, we finished the episode later than you two.
I had already watched the end credit scene, and just I don't know why, because I did the same thing. I was watching it with my roommate because he started watching it with me, and so I was upstairs. I was up watching it. And we were talking about it after the fact, and then the end credit scene started, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they probably know there's going to be an end credit scene," and so I didn't say anything. And then you said something, and I saw both their responses of like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I probably should have said something."
Well, here's the thing: I've been in the end credits are like 5.5 minutes long, and I'm like, why are they so long? So every episode, I was getting into the habit of skipping around, but then I stopped doing it. But then this week, I thought, I'll just do it. Like I skipped through. Like I went 2 minutes into the credits, and then I went through 2 more minutes, and then I was like, oh, there's nothing. I skipped through, I looked, there's nothing. I didn't miss anything. And then Joseph says, I'm like, you're capping. I literally went through it. There's no way. I'm like, Joseph, what is your game here? Do you just want to watch the world burn?
Game here.
Yeah, is this that funny to you, Joseph? Huh? It's 2:45 in the morning. I'm about to go to sleep, dude. I don't need you fucking with me right now.
Mm-hmm.
But Joseph, you're too wholesome. You wouldn't do that to me.
I'm a literal person.
Would you do that? Would you do that to me?
Joseph, this next week, I want you to, regardless of whether or not there's an end credit scene, just say there's an end credit scene.
Man, how about that end credit scene? I'd probably go mad. I'd probably watch the credits 10 times just thinking that Disney fucked me.
It was really funny seeing your guys' messages about the about Disney crashing, because I was 10 minutes into the episode, and you were just you guys were like, still can't watch it. Apparently, people can't watch it. And I was like, damn, shit's rough.
What was going through my mind. This is kind of crazy. I thought since only half of us were able to watch it, I thought it was some, meta fourth wall joke that the snap, we were gone, we can't watch the show sort of thing.
Funny.
So that's why I thought, I saw this episode title, and usually it just says episode 6, episode 7, whenever it comes out, the title doesn't update. But this one, out of the gate, it was breaking the fourth wall. So I'm
that's all.
Joseph goes deep as fuck in his mind. He really doesn't trust. He don't trust nobody.
Joseph had a theory about the show that actually bled into real life.
This is the show to do it. I mean, shit. Joseph, can we put anything off the table? Fuck.
Yeah, Joseph thought these Disney executives were fucking with us in real life.
I think I would have blipped. I hope I would have blipped.
You hope? What?
No, I can
actually. Okay, no. I totally forgot. I honestly just forgot the ramifications of what that entailed. I forgot what life would be like and not Like,
Yeah.
to be alive. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I would definitely want to be blipped. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to spend those 5 years, having lost like 50% of the people that I know and just being like, well, shit, the fuck's going, like, this sucks.
Oh man.
It'd be way better just getting blipped and coming back 5 years later and just being like, man, this is crazy.
Thanos underestimated our capacity to just fold over and die.
Yeah. Honestly, if I was in that fight, I'd be like, you know what? I wouldn't want to be within that 5 years of bringing everybody back. So if you want, just send me out on the way.
I wonder if there was like a volunteer process for the blip.
Give me the old snappity snap, Thanos.
Oh, wow, what an episode.
God, I hope by 3:00 tomorrow we have some. I know we're gonna have some crazy shit to talk about, but I hope we have like the cameo or like some Banana Land shit. Like I'm talking about like big time like MCU altering shit. Like that's what I want.
If Mark Hamill shows up, I'm going in the group chat and I'm saying something I don't know.
You're gonna go off on the kind of tangent you went off when you predicted that one thing. I don't even remember what it was at this point, and I hate to say that, but I just
No, I won't say that actually because we might be on different points and I don't want to spoil anything. But after the episode, wow, we'll talk about it.
No, okay, I figured out what happened though. You don't I know it kept saying like air. I kept getting like air playback, dude. I didn't have enough what's the word I'm looking for? I did not try hard enough. I just needed to keep hitting OK and just keep trying, and it would have went through because that's sort of how I got it.
I think it's literally because so many people were watching.
Oh no, 100% what it is. 100%. I just find it bullshit that Miles and Colton are like irrelevant in that whole fucking problem. Like,
hey,
listen, I think you guys are great, but what makes you more special than me and Joseph, huh? I like to think that we're all on equal levels of special.
Wow.
Man, guys, this was a good one. This was a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say.
I like this style of podcast. I think it does birth a lot more interesting conversation.
I'm gonna do this for the last couple as the storyline by storyline one. It'll go.
I like it.
And then we'll do that in the future too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially as the storylines get more,
juicy,
like intense.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be very, very. It'll be much easier that way. But this was the Penny Bloom podcast. 'Twas I, Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you. It was blessed to be back. Love to be back, boys.
I was so happy to have you back, man. We missed you. We missed you bad.
Thank you.
The dynamic when all four of us here is just it works. It works. To put it plainly.
You say, hey, but, are you trying to make a play on Vision? Are you trying to?
Sorry, you guys cut out for a second.
I think I fucked that up.
Yeah, Kyler fucked it up for a bit, and then Colton cut out mid-sentence.
Yeah, because I think you were talking when I was talking, but I couldn't hear you talking, so I thought I was okay to talk. But I just was pointing out that what you said, like it works. Like when Vision was stumbling over his words when he was trying to tell that to Wanda in Infinity War.
He's like, well, I think it works. It works. But I was joined by Miles Buttress. Thank you very much.
Hey, anytime, man.
Next week even?
Maybe.
And then, thank you, Mr. KBZ, Kyler Barnett.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Bart Scott in this bitch. Can't wait.
So, lootly. Again, this was the Penny Bloom podcast. Thank you very much. Join us next week for the WandaVision watch.